It gave me a high-powered laser. That was their first mistake. Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. I am Max, and this is the first sponsored video on the channel, and this is my co-host, the Creality Falcon 2. He's a laser, he doesn't speak. They are sponsoring me to use their 22 watt laser to make some Warhammer terrain. I didn't think they'd take that pitch, but thank you, Creality. Before I started making the terrain, I had a little experiment to kind of see what this thing could do. I was interested to see how powerful and accurate the lasers were, and they sent me some really thin card. Do you know how little you have to take off to engrave something that's 0.2 mil thick? So let's get into that. Remember to subscribe, for it is my birthday if you're watching this on release day, September 22nd. I am 30 years old. So that'll be a nice birthday present from you. Thank you. And tickle my like button to tickle my tummy. Stop tickling my tummy! I'm a fully grown man! Now, where Creality are paying me to use this in the video, they aren't necessarily paying me to say anything good. That is something I'm going to do for free. The most obvious first thing to do is cut my logo out of one of these test swatches of wood they've given me. I was very impressed with this laser. I actually went to university for graphic design, and I've used laser cutters in the past. They were massive. This is small desktop machine. It is fantastic. Their laser is much more powerful than the Falcon 1. This is phenomenal. This is quick. This is better than that massive machine I used to use at university. And yeah, I know it's a bit of a basic boy thing to do, cut your own logo out straight away, but it got me to test the engraving and the cutting at the same time because I could put the different layers into my logo. Once that was completely cut out, I was left with something like this. Yeah, nice little piece to test, and now I was going to test other materials too. I tested it on felt. Just kind of melt it, that's how it engraves this felt, and also the card I talked about. It did indeed engrave on 0.2 mil thick card. This, well, like, what's it taking off here? I don't understand how it's not going all the way through. It is a very clever machine. The laser is also powerful enough to engrave steel. I was using a 2 mil piece of steel here, but it can cut through 0.05 stainless steel in one pass if you wanted to cut thin steel. It can also cut 10 mil of black acrylic in one pass and 15 mil of wood in one pass. That I was quite impressed with, because you don't realise how thick that is until you try it. The diorama frame I built recently on the channel was made out of wood that was 15 mil thick, so I tested it on an old piece of that and I cut out my logo, again, like the most basic of boys. And yes, indeed, it did cut through in one go, even though this is wood-glued board that is varying in thicknesses where they join. It was fine. No problem phased this machine. This was a brilliant laser, and the link is going to be down in the description if you are interested in one yourselves. Once I had all of my logos cut out, I did in fact cut out a test for the terrain I'm going to be building. Using one of the tester swatches of wood, I cut out a micro scale version of these HAB units. These are free terrain files that I'll also link down below if you are interested in them. Once I was happy, I just had to resize it all to the size that I wanted to cut it out, for real this time, and get on my way. I like this diddy little guy, and I'm going to keep him forever if he is the start of my laser cutting journey. He will forever be my laser cutting mascot. Now, while I was doing that, cutting out of all the test stuff there, you may have noticed there's a little bit of smoke coming off this machine. Now, there is a way to help with that. One of the only bits you have to set up on this when you get it is the airflow assist, and you set it up and maintain it like this. This is the air pump. You install one side of it into this bit here with this hose, give it a fairly little hard push there, and then that's installed. The other end goes on to the top of the laser cartridge here, then that is installed. All you have to do then is plug the power into the side here, and then you can manually adjust the airflow on the side. This is very handy as you can adjust it on the go. Then you can also use Lightburn, which is the program I'm using, to enable the air alarm functions as well. Select the COM port down at the bottom here, then click console Type in $, and you can see all of these things here, and you can check the current value is 153. If that equals 0, it means it is disabled. Type in the command box here, $153 equals 1, then you enter $, and press enter again, and then you have saved it essentially. And on the laser cartridge, there are 3 lights. The one on the left is your air. If it goes amber, you may need to up the air, and if it goes red, you've got a little bit of a problem, and you may need to check those things that I've just told you there, but this is easy to do. Look, I explained it to you in less than a minute. I kind of became obsessed with cutting this stuff out. I cut way too much stuff out. My plan was to do one building for this video, a first little project and my first little exploration into laser cutting. I ended up cutting 2 of the hab buildings, 1 smaller hab building, 2 containers, and 1 little landing pad that was meant for Star Wars, but I've scaled it down to be a little landing pad because now, rather than doing 1 building, I'm going to be doing like a little service station in the 41st millennia. This laser is very interesting to watch. I don't know if it's a boy thing. Let me know if you think it's a boy thing, that hot laser burn wood equals good. That is very appealing to me. But they did give me some cool green space glasses to protect my eyes, so I could stare into the laser like a moron. But yeah, I don't recommend staring into a laser like a moron. It is very satisfying to see a fully cut out plate of all of your stuff ready to be built, and it's very interesting to watch this thing work. I don't know how it picks what lines it's going to draw, because it seems to be a little bit random. Like if you were a human, maybe you start top left and go over, but this jumps around, and it's very interesting to see what bit it'll cut out next. That's a fun little game. You can place a little bet on what you think it's going to cut out next. I was slightly concerned about operating a high-powered laser in my own home, but there is a flame monitoring alarm system on this, which is good. That is built in, and you'll hear alarm if anything starts to catch fire. Right by the laser underneath there is a little sensor which tracks this for you, which is a really good safety feature. Now, after a hard day's work lasering to your heart's content, you may need to clean the lens that's in there that the laser fires through. So this is how you do that. Should I film that again? Because am I meant to be more professional doing that? Nah, it'll be fine, won't it? Yeah, it'll be fine. The only other bit you need to install apart from the air pump is this laser cartridge when it arrives. And this is done with these 2 thumb screws on the side. To clean it, simply undo them, turn it over. You see it's got this little nozzle here where the laser fires through. Unscrew that, and you reveal your lens. They send you a little silk cloth glass cleaning thing. Clean it with that. This lens is removable. You can take that little O-ring off the outside and get it out and replace it. They do send you a spare. And you might as well clean the fire sensor while you're there. After that, reattach your little nozzle, and then you're good to go. That's it. Simple, quick, nothing complicated about this machine at all really. Everything is easy to do, and there are tutorials for it all online. I didn't really need to remove the lens after only 1 day of laser cutting, but this was pretty damn clean now and ready to go again on my next laser cutting adventure, whenever that may be. Pretty soon, I'm betting. I really enjoyed using this little guy. Talking of little guys, this guy now had a big brother. I had cut everything I needed out on those files and was ready to start putting it together. I mean, putting them together. Because like I said, I'd gone a bit bonkers. Yeah, this was meant to be 1, Max. What have you done to yourself? Oh well, at least this is going to look a little bit cooler than just 1, having a whole kind of service station of all these different little services for my 41st millennia inhabitants to visit. After I laser cut all of that, it's finally time to build my Warhammer 40k terrain. I went at it with some wood glue thinking that would get the best hold, and I think I was right. You could use super glue, but I find this is going to give you a longer lasting hold, as wood glue is stronger than the wood itself. I used cotton buds to clean up as I went, and when I was fitting the outer frames on this building, they didn't even need glue. This is a credit to the designer of the files to make it so perfectly fitting, and also the laser to be so accurate as it cuts it out that the things just push fit and stay. Yeah, not bad. A little Mechanicus repair shop maybe. Yeah, needs to put some lights on the back there still in those holes, but I'm happy with these. I think a bunch of these on a board would look very cool together, and you could stack them for height. Once I was done with that guy, I had my little service station ready. This was a place to be. We've got a Mechanicus repair shop, a meat pie shop, and somewhere to repent. What an empire humanity has created in 40k. This is the pinnacle of living. This is our future, ladies and gentlemen. Next step was priming. I gave them a couple of coats of black from the airbrush just to make sure that the MDF was sealed and that it wasn't going to be an issue moving forwards, because it can be quite absorbent. I actually did mess this one up when I was doing the second lot of airbrushing with the next colour, but then I just used it as a test palette for other things. Continuing this project, I tried it on this first, and I don't really care because I can just cut myself another one, because I've got my co-host, the Falcon 2 from Creality. He doesn't talk, he's a laser. The priming went reasonably well, just coated everything twice with this black primer from Vallejo, and then this project was well on its way. This has been a lot of fun from start to finish. I enjoyed the laser cutting, I enjoyed the painting. I was doing some quick paint jobs on these to get through because I'd made too many of them. So the next step was airbrushing Pro Acryl dark silver over them. I wanted to kind of give them a gloomy kind of cyberpunk vibe as well as them being 40k. But I also wanted to add something I'd never done before, a little bit of neon there, and I thought I knew an easy trick. But first I highlighted with sponging on some silver from Pro Acryl. This just caught the edges and made everything stand out a little bit more. Yeah. So it wasn't just a grey box in the darkness. It was now a battered grey box in the darkness. The next step was sponging on some paint on the containers to make them look like they were indeed old shipping containers. And I used the same red and bone colours for the little shop awning here as well to tie that in. These hazard stripes on the side here were kind of obvious what to do with them. Yellow contrast over the top, that's Iand yellow from Games Workshop, followed by some Black Legion contrast from Games Workshop on the opposing chevrons. This technique meant that you could see the sponging of light silver through them, and they looked weathered and a bit metallic as well. I like contrast paints over metallics, I think they work nicely. I then really thinned down some streaking grime because I wasn't going to be taking this off. I wanted this to be a layer of filth. Maybe this is in a hive city. Maybe this would be good for Necromunda, these. I can imagine playing on a board full of corridors made by these horrific little grubby huts, with everyone weaving in and out of them. Then for my neon, I painted everything I wanted to be a light or a neon sign in white, and thinned down some Army Painter neon yellow airbrush paint till it was very thin, and then kind of spammed it all over the areas that I wanted the light to flood, doing a quick and easy OSL as well as covering the lights. But because it was thin, you could still see the white through, and this neon glow effect is something I'm definitely going to use again. I really like how this turned out. It's the first time I've ever tried OSL through the airbrush. It was easy. It was really easy. This is what I'm left with a random assortment of miniatures to show you the scale and how it kind of looks with people around it. I think this has come off really well. For a quick little paint job and a day's laser cutting, this is good. Imagine a whole board in this drab, dark, metallic and neon green colours. It would look so good with a matching army. I think this little hobby project has been very successful thanks to the Creality Falcon 2. You can see them all here in a line, and you can kind of get what I was talking about with that Necromunda feel. You could have them all lined up like this, creating kind of streets, and maybe even laser cut some industrial kind of scaffolding or something to go on top of them to add a little bit extra height to the board. That would be easily done with one of these laser cutters, and you know what? Might do it. So now I've got this laser, there is definitely kind of a commercial aspect to owning one of these. You can set up your own businesses with like laser engraved cards, home decor, bottles, things like that. But for us miniature wargamers, there is a real possibility that my merch for this channel, because I haven't got any merch out yet, will be laser cut and engraved MDF wargaming terrain. What do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea? Let me know down below if you think that is a good idea and you would be interested, because that is a real possibility at the start of next year sometime that this becomes a reality. Thanks to Creality. That was cheesy, wasn't it?
So cheesy.
Thank you to the Patreons. If you would like to join them, the link is up there now. Shablam. And you can subscribe, because it is my birthday. So that would be nice of you. And remember kids, it's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of future fun. See you next time.
See you next time.
What the hell, you can talk?